a man who helped him spark an idea to help change the lives of kids living on the streets of Canada. It was called the Push for Change.
And Sean come up afterwards and he says, hey, I'm a psychologist, I'm a sports psych, and this is the guy who the coach comes to or the star player comes to when their brain's in a knot. And they need somebody to kind of sort that stuff out. And not just, somebody to help you kind of get through your day, but Sean helps people become the best in the world. Also, as a psychologist, he understands what and why people get stuck. And when you meet some of these star players that you look up and you're like, wow, that's a champion this or a gold medal that. Well, he understands that they're just human beings and they go through all the same range of emotions and self-doubt and some of the stuff that all of us go through. And so there was this fast connection. And
we shared a similar driving purpose, or what you might call a big why. And that's really about trying to extract the best out of people. It's a passion for helping people. And the real starting point of that is actually seeing something extraordinary or something amazing, seeing possibility in the people around you. That kind of got a conversation, started a conversation between the two of us that was ongoing from the day that we met. And it was in one of those many conversations around how do we make a bigger difference? How can we help people to transform their lives for the better? And particularly with a focus on kids, because we both know that if we can try to catch them early, then we can do a lot to prevent some of those bad decisions that can occur later in life and affect a lot more lives. Early intervention is really about getting kids to that early stage when they're probably in a space of turmoil. They might be struggling with some self-esteem issues. Maybe it's, they might be going through some tough times in family or bullying in school or any number of factors that around adversity that are challenging to themselves and may leave them feeling a bit less than. And late intervention is probably Joe's story, very much. It's about this idea that here he was living on the streets of downtown Vancouver, pushing a shopping cart around, sleeping under a bridge, heroin addict. Many people would walk by someone like that and say lost cause. Late intervention is about saying it's never too late. And it got Joe and I talking about, well, how can we do that? How can we do that on a national level? And this might be the ticket to us really making a difference. And we were talking about, well, what do Canadians do to make a difference? We were, thinking about Terry Fox and Rick Hansen. Canadians have a legacy of trekking. And so in that context, I kind of had this idea, it just popped to my mind of this kind of vision of Joe pushing a shopping cart across the nation. And I spoke the words. I said, well, I don't know, Joe, why don't you push a shopping cart across Canada?
And that was it. Pushing a shopping cart across Canada was the perfect idea, the perfect way to grab the nation's attention about a growing concern. And it eventually gained enough momentum to become a reality called the Push for Change. Joe and Sean decided on a training trek during the summer of 2012, one that would test Joe's limits to see if he could actually walk 8,000 kilometers across the whole country.
That final kilometer really stood out because it really did exceed expectations, and there are people behind this. And I'm just overwhelmed with what Joe has done and what the Push for Change stands for.